Yo, what's up, you guys? Brian coming at you. Um, it's a lot going on in the world right now. We are all stressed and going through a lot. Wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about, to just kind of switch the subject up a little bit. I just finished the series on Lost. Came out in 2004, a series about pretty much a group of people um, getting a plane crash. They crashed on this island, and it's not a survival show. However, it's just a show really about people. I wanted to, I am late to the party. I know a lot of you guys have probably seen it. The only thing I heard about it was how crazy the ending was. And after binging the whole, 121 episodes, I have a lot to say about it. I honestly feel a little bit emotional. It was as bad as everybody said. If you haven't watched it, there will be a lot of spoilers. I'm gonna spoil the whole thing because I just got to get this out. Like, the show was so good, and it was so bad that I need therapy after watching this show. I need therapy because it's so good, and the way that they decided to end it was highly disappointing. I was highly disappointed in how they had to end it. Hold on a second, y'all. All right, I'm back. Had to let my daughter go outside. So yeah, this is gonna have a lot of spoilers. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's worth watching. It's really good. The ending is very disappointing. I'm trying to find the words for it. The ending was very disappointing, but it was more than that. Okay, so it was a great show. In this review, I think it's more for people who probably have watched it. I'm not gonna go over everything that happened. I'm just talking about my feelings about it. So this video mainly is for people who have probably watched the show and you just want to see somebody's take and synopsis on the whole, primarily the ending and what they didn't do that was good. So first off, I felt like the ending, the deal is with Lost, I could have literally watched season 1 through 4 and stopped at season 4, and it would have been one of the greatest shows I ever watched in my life. I mean, really good. The story development is great. The characters, all the acting is good. The writing is super good. Everything is great. Season 4 was really good. They left the island, right? But they started flashing forward to stuff. And the writing is so good that they suck you into coming back. And after I watched season 4, I was like, I almost didn't even want to watch season 5. I was like, okay, they got off the island, and obviously more stuff happened, but I was like, okay, they got off. I mean, whatever happens after that is just another deal. But of course, the writing on that show is so good. I had to come back and watch season 5. And I kind of regret that I did. I feel like, honestly, season 5 and 6 is like, season 1 through 4 is like Lost Part 1. Season 5 through 6 is like, one of those series that's really good, and then they bring it back and they kind of have a sequel, and it's kind of like all weird and stuff. That's pretty much what season 5 and 6 was. It's weird, the characters are doing stuff that, they normally wouldn't do. My boy Saeed was one of my favorite characters. The turn that they took with his character, I really didn't like. It was very out of character. Not that he did bad stuff, but it was very out of character, which I didn't, it just didn't feel like that was his real character. What else? There's like a million things. Season 6 was just super downhill. They did the flash sideways, so they did like flashback season 1 through 4, and then 5 or I guess 4 and 5 maybe, they did some flash forward stuff where they showed what happened after they got back versus where they are now. Then season 6 they did flash sideways. The flash sideways stuff was really whack, and just because the stuff that they were showing has zero relevance to the show. And so I was just like, okay, what's going on? As far as them answering questions, I felt like there was a lot of unanswered questions. And my biggest concern was not that they didn't answer all the questions. Like, you know, I like the science versus the faith, you know, theme. I love that stuff because I feel like I'm a really good mix. I'm not super hardcore on one versus the other. I love to mix them, and I feel like they did a good job mixing them. And some of the stuff was just mysterious, but they just kept introducing elements all the way to the very end. Like, we're like 3 or 4 or 5 episodes away from the finale, and they're introducing new characters and new stuff that they haven't even answered all old questions. And I'm like, okay, what the heck? But it was just some of the biggest questions that they didn't answer. I think the biggest thing I wanted to know is like, okay, the origin, and they didn't even have to go deep into the origin story of the island, but I was like, okay, what is it? You know, they refer to it as it, but then it never really manifested itself. Jacob's character was, I'm like, you know, I think Ben Linus was to me the ultimate, what do you call it? Antagonist. He was the ultimate antagonist. But then you had like Jacob come in, and then you had the Smoke Monster was the brother, their backstory, but they kind of came in so last minute. I'm like, okay, what's going on with them, and why is Jacob so significant? And I think, you know, ultimately Lost was really, I think what I got from it the most is a story, which was a cool element, that all the chaos, something cool that came out of it is that nobody is all good and nobody is all bad. And I wish that would have been the conclusion of the series, like the whole point of it, because you're used to rooting for a character. You know, in the beginning, you're rooting for, okay, these 3 people are cool. I don't like these other people. But by the end, literally everybody has like a murder on their record. You know what I mean? Everybody has a lie, and everybody has murdered somebody. They've lied. They've done all kind of stuff. But you find yourself rooting for them. But you're like, man, I shouldn't be rooting for this person. So I thought that was really cool with the show, like how they were able to show all of these characters' lives and different things like that. And it wasn't like a clear, like, this person is a good guy and this person is bad, because they all did things that were like ridiculous and crazy. So I really like that. I like that a lot, that they did that. Man, what else on that show? What else do I need to get out? This is like my venting, getting this stuff out, because the show was out of control. Watching season 1 through 4. So if you've never watched it and you already got all, like, you know, spoilers already, right? You will be better off, or I even would have been better off, watching season 1 through season 4, and then in your mind literally making up an ending on your own. Like, just make it up, and don't get tempted to watch season 5 where like they go back and they're having all these problems and stuff in their lives. Just ignore all of that. Make up a story of what would have happened, and Lost would be one of the best series ever. Once you watch 5 and 6 and they start flashing forward, then flashing start, it goes downhill really fast. But the writing is so good. Like, you know, I see why people watched it to the end. I think most shows that do go downhill, it's like you get unmotivated to watch it. I love Modern Family. After the kids grew up, I got very uninterested in watching the show. But it's amazing writing. But with Lost, it's so great that even when it does start going sideways, like the end of season 5, you just want to see what's going to happen. And one of the hard parts, one of the other things too that they did with season 5 and 6 is they made it very difficult to root for somebody. Remember I said, like, everybody, you know, has a murder on their record and they're liars and all. Everybody's a liar in that thing, as we are as people, right? But it got too much to where I didn't care, you know. Like, by season 6, I was like, I don't even care about anybody. I just want to see what's going to happen. And that's never a good place to be. I wasn't motivated to watch it. There was a season 7, I probably would have been out. Like, I would have been like, no, I'm not going to. Because season 6 was ridiculous. when you're showing stuff that literally really doesn't mean anything, and it's kind of like what the heck, you know. So that was one of the big things, is that I felt like there was nobody to root for by the end of it, and it was so disappointing, because this whole series, you're in your mind, there's so many life lessons and things that are happening that, you know, I'm going outside looking at people like, oh man, just looking at people different, and you know, just in the sense that you see all these different diverse cast, you see the backstories, and so you're looking at people in life like, man, this person probably has this backstory, and you know, more to them than it seems, and it's so good. And then, like I said, season 5 and 6, it just takes this ridiculous nosedive to where you don't even care. They force you to stop caring about the characters, and I was just like, because everybody's just doing random stuff, you know what I mean? It's just like, okay, like everybody has a completely different motive in the whole thing. Nothing's really making sense. You have new characters being introduced and with motives of their own, and you don't even really understand what the main motive is. It's just, and then at the end, it's like they're all dead, and it's like, what the heck? So I feel, like I said, I feel emotional about it, because I feel like I was taken on this amazing journey, season 1 through 4, like really awesome backstories with characters, seeing people, you know, who start off bad becoming really cool and changing, and then it's like nosedive, right? So yeah, so I feel pretty distraught about it. I feel like the writers they lied to us. They did, straight up. Y'all lied. If y'all watching this video, you lied. You know, if you've watched it before, I feel, you know, another theory, I don't know if anybody said this, but I feel like this show is one of those things where the character of Ben Linus is one of the most, he's a really cool villain, and the whole others in him, they literally, at the end of the show, they have no bearing on really what happened, which was kind of ridiculous. But he's one of the coolest bad guys that I've ever seen. I mean, he played his part incredible, super manipulative, a liar, ruthless. I mean, he was crazy, you know what I mean? And this little kind of, you know, weak, come off as passive person, but I mean, just very strong words, very strong thoughts, and the whole thing. So his character was really cool. But I feel like he represented what the show is. And zero answers, lies, and just they do ruthless stuff, especially 5 and 6. They just start doing ruthless things with the characters, and you just feel like, what? And I feel like he represents kind of what the show is, which is kind of bad to say, but if you look at it, I don't know what they call it, like when you have a third person, it's like the show is manifested, or like the writers, like they're, you know, what they want to display is in that character. And so I feel like Ben Linus' character was like that. It's like, that's what the show is. You just feel super lied to and betrayed, and I'm just like, dude, what are y'all doing? But nah, you know, I think overall it's good. I feel like I've been grappling with trying to say, do I like Lost or do I not like it? And it's definitely not one of the best drama series that I've ever seen because of the ending. For sure, it takes itself out of like top 10, top 5 because of that ending. And not just the last episode, but the season 5 and 6, what they tried to do. It was just ridiculous. So it takes itself out of the top 5, right? And so I'm just trying to decide, do I still like this show? Would I even recommend it? I know when I was in the middle of it, I was like, oh, dude, I want to watch this with my wife again. I watched all 120 episodes. But after I finished it, my desire to watch this with my wife, like, it just went away. I was like, dude, all this stuff that they're doing, it kind of doesn't really even mean anything. It's not even clear. So I'm just trying to grapple. Do I really like this show? One thing that was cool was the flashback. That guy who played Richard, his character, I really liked his character a lot. It was really cool. But again, in the scheme of things in the show, it really didn't mean much. His character was kind of meaningless, which was unfortunate. But they had an episode towards the end where they showed his backstory. Yeah, they showed his backstory. And that was really cool. Like, I really wish that some of those backstories, like the origin stories they had that were completely incomplete, were really cool. Like the one with him in it, Richard's backstory, and then Jacob and his brother. Their backstory was really cool, but it was like the fourth from the last episode of the entire series, which to me, it should have been in season 1 or season 2, just to introduce them. It was really cool how they played it out. And I think they should have expounded on that a lot more. So yeah, some of my favorite characters, for sure, it was John Locke. That was my dude. I don't know in 2004, 2010, like how people felt, who was the favorite characters, but I loved John Locke. Man, that dude was dope. Just the wisdom he had. Again, he wasn't even all good, but this is faith that he had, and I claim to be a man of faith myself, in God, and I'm just like, man, just to see his faith and how he like kept pushing, and he overcame, and just how he was before he was on the island. I kind of relate to that kind of underdog and wanting to really do something with his life, and him doing it was really cool. But then in the end, obviously he did go overboard, where he was like, he killed that helicopter lady, and he was overly dogmatic at some times. But I really like John Locke was number 1, and then Saeed was number 2 for sure. I really love Saeed. He was one of the only characters, if you stop watching a season 4, as you should if you've never watched Lost, he was one of the only characters that stayed true to who he was. He didn't really have as much of a blemish. He just had a pure heart. He did stuff in his past, but he was one of the most pure-hearted dudes in the show. At the end, they totally slaughtered his character, in my opinion, on what they did with him, on how they did his character. But I really, really like Saeed's character. Who else? I like Jack's character too. Jack was cool. I liked Desmond as well. I like Desmond's character. His whole thing was about getting back to Penny, and I think he ended up with her. I mean, there was so many timelines and stuff, but that was really cool. It reminded me of my love for my wife and stuff like that, and I was like, that's cool. Like, so I like Desmond's character. Everybody else was cool too. I felt like Jin, the Korean character, I liked him, but he was very kind of on a bipolar tip, where I felt like they didn't know whether to make him a hardcore, like this assassin, like, I don't give a crap about anybody kind of character, and then his soft side. So he had these two sides, and they were kind of extreme. Like, he was extremely kind at times, and especially when he was part of the Dharma Initiative towards the end, and being under Sawyer, he was just totally like, okay, follow orders, and very nice guy. And then in the very beginning, in this other parts, he was just this like hardcore, knew how to use a gun, all this stuff. And so I felt like his character was cool. It just kind of flip-flopped a lot. And I wish they would have had a softer or more gentle transition between his like hardcore self and his more subtle self. What other thoughts I have? I gotta get it out, y'all. This is my therapy for Lost. 120 episodes. What else? How much batteries do I have? I'm at 11% on a Galaxy Note S10 Plus. I'm good to go. Yeah, y'all. That's the biggest thing. Again, if I could have rewrote the show, there's a way, and if I had more time and like a clone of myself, and I can just like go off and do other projects that are really fun, I would rewatch every episode, and you can actually take out, there's a lot of episodes you can take out because they don't really do anything, but you can actually reorder Lost. And it would be really cool to see somebody do the project where you reorder it to where it is to where it makes sense. It is a really, really cool series. You can actually do that because there was some where I was like, okay, you don't need this episode. You can probably delete 25%, if not more, of the episodes and reorder some of them. Like I said, a lot of the origin stuff, putting it in a very beginning, it'll give you a whole different experience. The universe they created, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. They created a brilliant universe. It's really cool. It's just what they did with it and direction they took just was, at the end, was ridiculous. But it's a great universe, a great story, great character. I would love to reorder everything and make it make sense, and none, pretty much everything from season 6 will be taken out except the origin stuff. You can delete entire season 6, literally. You just delete it, except those. There maybe have been 1 or 2 origin stories. So yeah, man. Thank y'all for listening. I need to get it out. I may have more stuff. I'm just thinking, is there anything else from the series that caught my attention? Nah, it was good. It was good. I'm currently watching Manifest right now. I love sci-fi stuff. I'm currently watching Manifest, and I like it a lot. It's no comparison from Manifest to Lost. Manifest is really, really good. If they can get their ending right, it'll be better than Lost for sure. But Lost is the first 4 seasons it's like a book. It's a book you can't put down. I mean, I watched, to my discredit, I've watched like probably 10 episodes in one day. I know it's, everybody has to do it once in their life, right? But I probably watched 10 episodes in one day, and it's a page turner. And I got away with that because I was like, oh, if I had a book that I couldn't put down, like, that would be socially acceptable. So I could just watch these episodes. So yeah, it was a lot of fun watching. It was fun to watch. It was really cool. I recommend anybody watch it. But hey, I would love to know what you guys think. Honestly, don't have a lot of people. I will call you back, cousin. I don't have a lot of people to talk to about this stuff. That's why I'm making a video. So if you have comments on Lost, I would love to hear them. If you actually watched this whole thing, thank you. You're my therapist. Let me know what's in the chat. All right. Thanks, y'all, for watching. Please let me know your thoughts on, what you thought about it. The ending was whack. I mean, there's no other way to put it. It's just, it was freaking ridiculous. The whole show, 1 through 4, some of the best TV. But yeah, that's it for me. Anything for you, Miley? You watched a little bit of Lost too. Did you like it?
Yeah.
What did you like about Lost?
The Lost is Mexico, and
What did you like about Lost?
Killing people.
Ooh, killing people? Yeah, it was a lot of killing. What else? Bombs? Yes, there were bombs. And what else? One more thing.
And all the people was running.
All the people were running? Yeah, they were. That's it, y'all.